Good morning. My name is Maureen Chung. Welcome to Daily Devotional of March the 21st. The Bible passage is Luke 20, verse 1 to 9, and you can see the parallel passage in Mark 11, 27 to Mark 12, 12. The title is The Authority of the Heir. One day, as he was teaching the people in the temple courts and preaching the gospel, the chief priests and the teachers of the law, together with the elders, came up to him. "Tell us by what authority you are doing these things," they said. "Who gave you this authority?" He replied, "I will also ask you a question. Tell me, John's baptism, was it from heaven or from men?" They discussed it among themselves and said, "If we say from heaven, he will ask, 'Why didn't you believe him?' But if you say from men, all the people will stone us because they are persuaded that John was a prophet." So they answered, "We don't know where it is from." Jesus said, "Neither will I tell you by what authority I am doing these things." He went on to tell the people this parable. A man planted a vineyard, rented it to some farmers, and went away for a long time. At harvest time, he sent a servant to the tenants so they could give him some of the fruit of the vineyard. But the tenants beat him and sent him away empty-handed. He sent another servant, but that one also they beat and treated shamefully and sent away empty-handed. He sent still a third, and they wounded him and threw him out. Then the owner of the vineyard said, "What shall I do? I will send my son, whom I love. Perhaps they will respect him." But when the tenants saw him, they talked the matter over. "This is the heir," they said. "Let's kill him, and the inheritance will be ours." So they threw him out of the vineyard and killed him. What then will the owner of the vineyard do to them? He will come and kill those tenants and give the vineyard to others. When the people heard this, they said, "May this never be." And in Matthew chapter 21, verse 41, "He will bring those wretches to a wretched end," they replied, "and he will rent the vineyard to other tenants who will give him his share of the crop at harvest time." This is from the parallel passage. And so continuing on, Jesus looked directly at them and asked, "Then what is the meaning of that which is written, 'The stone the builders rejected has become the capstone or the cornerstone. Everyone who falls on that stone will be broken to pieces, but he on whom it falls will be crushed.'" The teachers of the law and the chief priests looked for a way to arrest him immediately because they knew he had spoken this parable against them. But they were afraid of the people. During the period of Lent, we continue with Jesus on the Tuesday morning of the Passion Week. Since the triumphal entry into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday, he and his disciples have been sleeping over in Bethany, the village of Martha, Mary, and Lazarus. Now he visits the temple again and is challenged by the chief priests, the teachers of the law, and the elders. On Monday, Jesus cleared the traders from the temple courtyard. The religious leaders, who have been benefiting financially from this arrangement, are livid at the loss of business and the disregard of their authority. "Tell us by what authority you are doing these things," they said. "Who gave you this authority?" To Jesus, there are only two sources: authority from heaven or authority from men. If it is from men, authority is granted temporarily at the whim of the people. The religious leaders also fear what the people think. For if they say that the authority of John the Baptist came from men, the people will stone them because they believe that John was a prophet from God. Populism is to be feared. The same is true for Pontius Pilate, who feared the mob that cried out, "Crucify him," at the trial of Jesus. Despite 3 times telling the mob that he couldn't find basis for their charges against him, he still granted them their demand for a death sentence. Populism is fickle. But Jesus knows that, like John the Baptist, his authority is from heaven. That is why he cleared the traitors from the temple courtyard. If it is his Father's house, it is also his house as the rightful heir. The parable of the tenants is obviously directed at the Jewish leaders. Israel is God's vineyard, albeit rented to the religious leaders to take care of for a while. God expects them to be spiritually fruitful, to be an example to the nations, and to draw others to worship God. But the leaders don't care. They only usurp all power and honor for themselves. God sent prophets one after another throughout the years to collect fruit from the tenants to make sure that they honor God with their fruitfulness. But they rejected the messengers from God with additional violence. Finally, God sent his son, the heir. But the rebellious religious leaders plotted to kill him so that they could steal the vineyard for themselves. God, the rightful owner of his people, will just as easily crush the thieves, the usurpers, and turn his vineyard, his faithful community, over to others who will faithfully take care of it. It is God who has the authority, and he has delegated it to his Son. And God will delegate it to his church to promote his gospel to the nations for their salvation. Even the Jewish religious leaders understand the meaning of this parable. If you have a position of leadership at your church, do you see yourself as an owner or a custodian? Does your ministry belong to yourself or to God? If you have a career that makes you an influencer, do you use it for personal advantage or gain? Do you see your popularity as your right, or do you see it as God's tool for you for just a time? If you have a family that makes you proud, are they yours to boast about, or are they trusts that you thank God for? Do you own your family, or is God the true owner of them all? I look at this from the angle of his pastor of his church. It is Jesus' church, for his blood is the redemptive price for her salvation. I'm just the short-term caretaker. My task is to produce fruit for his glory. He has given me the chance to be fruitful. I must not usurp the church for myself. Anytime the church is here for his enjoyment and pleasure. Only then I know that heavenly authority has been delegated to me. It is a huge honor. I praise my owner for his wisdom, love, and grace. I cannot find a better boss to work for. Praise the Lord. Thank you for joining me. God bless you, and see you tomorrow. Please like and subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to get new video updates. Thank you.